My talk today is practical insights into how you can win featured snippets. And it's based on all the great sources of research out there on the web that you can find yourselves, but also some really cool case studies from the Sixt domains. Introduction about me, I'm Izzi Smith. I'm an SEO manager at Sixt Rent-A-Car, and I've been there for the past 3 years. I'm originally from Manchester, but I moved to Munich. I don't speak German, even though I live in Germany. I don't have a driving license, and yeah, I love beer. So if you see me without a beer tonight, just help me out and get me one. Okay. I'm part of a really epic international SEO team. Actually, our online marketing team as a whole is on fire. That's our casual nickname. And this year, we're super happy to say that we won Best SEO Campaign at the German Search Marketing Awards. That was a great night. The agenda for my talk today, I'm just quickly going to go through search appearance in 2018. Then I want to show why you should be bothering with featured snippets, some top tips on how you can win them, and then show you some successful case studies and how you can also track your featured snippet generations, and of course, key takeaways. So let's quickly look at search appearance in 2018. As SEOs, we have to be really mindful of what is going on the search results, on the SERPs, because we know that it's no longer a collection of blue links. It's very important to stay on top of how Google is displaying our data. Let's take a look at a search for one of my favorite movies, Jurassic Park. There's so much visual stuff going on there. So we've got the entity data and knowledge graph. We've got now huge meta descriptions, structured meta descriptions and site links, carousels with videos, top tweets, all that stuff, and of course, rich snippets. This is not new, so you'll know that you'll be seeing a lot of these cases out there, but it's just a good idea to pay attention. I don't have to talk so much about rich snippets, because thankfully Barry did that already, but just to set the scene, rich snippets display data from the landing page in the SERPs to help users click and find the best result for them. They're not keyword exclusive. So for one keyword result, there could be a rich snippet for each result, yes. Whereas featured snippets are nicknamed position zeros. So what happens there is they're taking your result and putting it right at the top of the SERPs. So you're jumping above position 1 and winning that awesome spot. And people can't miss you there. It's awesome. It's right in your face. And unlike rich snippets, if they do generate, there'll only be one per keyword. So yeah. And they're very beautiful. Yes. There's a study by Stat who dug into all this feature snippet data to see how they display themselves. So there are 3 different flavors of featured snippet. The most common one is paragraph, and there are lists, and my favorite, which is table, but this is the least frequent one. So the point is, it's no longer enough just to rank on first place, because even if you're ranking number 1 because your SEO strategy is awesome, if someone's providing a richer search result than you are, you might be losing out a larger share of clicks to them. So you really have to pay attention of how your data is being displayed on the SERPs. So why should you bother with featured snippets? So obviously the most obvious reason is they can really increase the quantity of your traffic. One example I like to give is for our German domain that won a feature snippet for Automarken, which is basically car brands. And as you can imagine, there is so much search volume behind this query. And once this happened, this page, this landing page became our most visited SEO page of the whole domain, just because of this one feature snippet. So it can really boost your traffic. But not just that, it can increase the quality of your traffic. If you're generating featured snippets, it's kind of a good trust signal to the user, because people are saying, oh, Google has taken this result to be the best response to my question or my problem. And that can also help increase your conversions. So for this one, for Car Hire Croatia, it really uplifted our bookings and our revenue, which is pretty cool. 1 second. Brand awareness. So if you're a smaller domain, a featured snippet can help you outrank these big competitors. So this is just a small food blog that has won a featured snippet for best vegan recipes and is outranking these huge domains with a lot of power behind them just because they're providing better content to win that featured snippet. Also, voice search. If you get a featured snippet result, you will be read out loud as most of the time as the voice search response. And finally, they are cool as fuck, so yeah. I want to give you some top tips on how you can win feature snippets, but kind of like earning organic high rankings in general, there's no set recipe on how to get them, just best practices, trial and error, and sometimes a little bit of voodoo as well. So there are certain types of keywords that trigger feature snippets, and so you should first understand what they are before you go out and hunt them. So 42% of the time, they show themselves as question keywords. I think these are the most popular ones. But they're also generated for preposition keywords, such as with, without, similar to, and comparison keywords, so best, worst, and also including compare. Once you know what can trigger feature snippets or what generates feature snippets, you should evaluate your current rankings. What type of snippet-worthy keywords already bring people to your website? So what I like to do is go in Google Analytics because in Search Console, the keyword data, there is no regular expressions and the filters are pretty crap. But you can do this in Google Analytics. You don't get so much data, but it gives you a good impression. So I would just use this regex, including normal question type keywords such as why, how, does, and then you can see, then you can see a nice list of what types of questions and problems are bringing people to your website. Then you can see if A, they're already generating a featured snippet, or B, there needs to be a featured snippet that you can trigger. Next, you should evaluate your potential rankings. Featured snippets aside, this is very important in terms of your SEO content strategy because there could be a lot of problems and questions out there that you're not answering or not providing content for, that you're the best source of information. So yeah. I would look to Answer the Public, a great free tool. Just enter a keyword, and it will already give you questions, prepositions, and comparisons for this certain keyword. Here's an example for beer. It's giving me all these different questions that I can go out there and create content for. Also, ask your public. I think we spoke about TripAdvisor earlier, so see what people are asking in the forums. What kind of, what kind of problems are arising. Also talk to your sales team, your customer support team, and see what they say. I also like to use Hotjar surveys. I put these on my landing pages and see if there are any common questions that keep popping up that I'm not creating content to answer yet. People also ask boxes can be good because these usually also have a featured snippet of themselves. And there's also people also search for box. If you go onto if you click onto a result, but then bounce back to the SERPs, you'll get a list of 6 links, and these are pre-rendered, so you can use a Chrome scraper and get all this keyword data just from one Google search. So this is really cool. I would recommend doing that. Assess the intent of the feature snippet keyword. Should there be a feature snippet for this question or for this problem? So feature snippets usually get a lot of bad rep, because they say, okay, if I'm answering a question on the search results, I'm not going to get those clicks to my landing page. So always think about, should I provide answer content on the SERPs? Is it necessary? So only do that if there's the intent to click, or if your competitor is getting it so you can go and steal it. So in this example, how old do I need to be to get a tattoo? The answer is 18, and maybe there's no intent to actually learn more about why that is, so you're not going to click on the landing page. But for this, for this keyword, how old to hire a car, I'm giving them the answer, but it's highly unlikely that I've completely satisfied their intent on the search results. So they're going to want to click on my landing page and hopefully browse my cars and book something. Avoid keywords with knowledge card results. These sometimes get mistaken as feature snippets because they're in the same place, they're very prominent, but these are taken from Google's source partners and from entity data. And A, you're not really going to have any chance winning these, and B, if you do, there's no attributed URL, so you won't get the clicks onto your page. The next step is provide the perfect answer. I know this sounds really obvious, but sometimes SEOs are too tied up in keyword density and all that, rather than actually providing solutions. So one-worded answers are not going to generate you a featured snippet. Here are some tips on how to create good answer content. Always be factual, provide supporting data and sources, write it for humans, and please forget keyword density if you haven't already. Just satisfy the intent of what they're looking for. I think Wikipedia actually does quite a good job at providing concise and short answers, which is why they seem to generate a lot of featured snippets. Damn. You should next structure your answer content with the most relevant format. Yes, Google loves structured content, and there seems to be certain formats depending on the type of question. So the most common is paragraph. So this is generated for W questions like why, who, and so on, is, and do. So you for these types of keywords, structure your answer content in a nice, concise paragraph. The sweet spot is between 40 to 50 words, so aim to get it in there. For prepositions and plurals, lists with clear headers. So this is a feature snippet for world's strongest beers, and on the landing page, it's like a list article, so with headers as the items, and then there's some additional content below it, but Google's structured it to create this nice snippet list. How-to and methods should be basic HTML lists, ordered or unordered. Here's how to build a snowman. And that's how it looks on the landing page. So yeah, very basic, structured content. When possible, you should bulk out your lists, because you really want to get this read more tag on your feature snippet to create more incentives to click on your result. So here's how to draw a realistic dog, and number 5, finished. Okay, yeah. What's the point? You should aim to get this more item tag in your feature snippet to win those clicks. Yay. For numerical data and comparisons, I strongly urge you to build basic HTML tables like this one. Google seems to love tables. Google loves structured content. So yeah, always go out there and get this data and use it to build a lovely table. You need to prove you're an expert on the topic. You need to show Google that you know your shit when you're talking about this, when you're answering these problems and these questions. So rather than just creating a landing page with featured snippet keyword question, featured snippet keyword content, you really need to back up your claims and provide more additional relevant content. So maybe you're not aiming to get a feature snippet for the different types of beer, but you need to back up your claim as being the best source of knowledge on this topic. So here I've added a heading and an introduction, explanatory diagram, and some more fantastic additional content. Don't do this. This really frustrated me. So the Metro have provided an article for a question, and they've placed the answer quite far down on the page, really at the bottom. So yeah, they're backing up their claim with a lot of additional relevant content, but they're just causing user frustration by putting it right at the bottom of the page, and this won't win a featured snippet. So after providing your epic answer content for your feature snippet, you should then make it stand out to Google. And we do that with schema.org, which I also love. We've already spoke about structured data. Well, Barry did. So I don't need to go too much into detail. But yeah, so structured data is usually required for rich snippets. And I say they're quick and easy with a star because obviously it always depends. Yep. But they're not required for featured snippets, so why would you go out and get there? But yeah, it just helps with more search engine understanding to give your content context, and it can help your chances with these featured snippets. Here are some schema markups you can test: item list, how-to section, how-to step, a QA page I like to roll out, and answer as well. So these are just some that you can test to uplift your chances of winning featured snippets. Always make sure that your hreflang is set up, just to avoid problems of outranking yourselves with same language, different region. Here on google.co.uk, I'm ranking #1 with my UK domain, but because my .com domain is winning the snippet, I'm outranking myself, and that's because my hreflang was not properly set up. Make sure you maximize your click-through rate on your feature snippets by optimizing your images. Because if you don't, you could maybe win the feature snippet, but a competitor has won the image parts with an attributed URL there. So you always have to make sure that your images are worthy enough to be there. Make sure they're topic relevant. I aim to have them less than 600 pixels in a 4:3 aspect ratio and compressed with a service like TinyPNG. I did that, and then I won the image back, which is all good. Once you've made all these changes, you need to tell Google as soon as possible. So just fetch as Google on Search Console, let them know you've made changes, and this can maximize the time it takes to get a feature snippet. Then you can start reevaluating your potential. What I like to do is you do a site search with my domain with the feature snippet keyword if I'm not generating it without site search. But if I'm doing it with site search, I know there's something that my competitor is doing better, so I can go and reanalyze and up my strategy. You can now, well, you could, but someone on Twitter discovered that you can see where you are in the snippet queue. So just search for your keyword and then minus the feature snippet site to see who's #2. And you can keep doing that on and on and on. The final step is don't lose faith. I think it can be quite frustrating going out and hunting these feature snippets, but Google is constantly perfecting their quality in terms of generating feature snippets, and it does take time, so don't give up. Now I'd like to show you some successful case studies from our Sixt rent-a-car domains. What we like to do at Sixt, because we have so many international domains, is test where Google tests. So we like to experiment on the US domain, because that's where we see the most volatility in the rankings and with search appearance. And then we can roll it out to our other European domains as well. So if you have this possibility, I would suggest you do that in terms of your snippet hunting. My first case study all revolved around a problem. Basically, we have these lucrative car model keywords that have transaction intent, such as rent a BMW 5 Series. And we manually create these landing pages with love. They rank usually quite well. Oops, sorry. But the problem is, in the US and the UK, our brand awareness is not as high as it is in Germany or in France or in Spain. So even though we're ranking on these top positions, we're not getting the clicks that we should be, that on average we should. And that's a really negative ranking signal to Google, because if you're ranking #1 but no one's clicking on you, of course it's going to drop you down. So yeah, we were losing rankings and they just weren't performing. So I said we need richer snippets, we need stars, we need ratings, we need data, we need something beautiful to stand out. But Yeah, we're not a recipe website. We're not an event. We're not editorial. And yes, we do have a product, but our pricing is so dynamic. It changes every minute. We can't possibly create these pricing rich snippets. So what did we do? I looked to the kings of well-structured content, which I mentioned them before is Wikipedia. And for the generic keyword BMW 5 series, they have this nice structured meta description. And I saw that and I thought, I want that too. What should I do? So this is the hypothesis, I thought. I need data, I need tables, and I need to make my content stand out, so I want to add structured data. And that should create this rich snippet. So this is how the landing page looks. I ordered, my team in Berlin wrote me some amazing car content for our pages. We added the data tables, very basic HTML. And this is the car specification schema markup that I added. And I also put in there rental vehicle usage as the value of vehicle special usage. So I'm not just telling Google that I know my shit about cars, I'm telling Google that I'm renting them as well. What happened? So I wanted a rich snippet, but we ended up getting featured snippets, which was quite unexpected. This was late 2016 when they were rarer than unicorns. So this is a really nice outcome. Yeah, so for some keywords, we're ranking on position 0 for these really lucrative car model keywords. And we're also getting rich snippets, these structured meta descriptions, the ones I initially set out to get there, not just in the US and the UK, but also in Germany and in France, which is really nice. Yes, in the US and UK, we have both, so users really can't ignore us. What were the results of this? So in Sixt.com, 18% of our car model pages are generating a snippet. That's quite awesome considering how rare these are. Our sessions increased astoundingly, and so did our bookings. So like I said before, it had a nice impact on our trust signals as well on the users, and it also uplifted our revenue. In the UK, we also had similar numbers, a great success of 28% of our pages generating snippets, with 46% more sessions, 48% more bookings. So yeah, we increased our revenue and traffic, which I guess that's why we're here, that's what we want to do. But also it stabilized our rankings because now we have this positive user signal on our click-through rate. So when Google rolls out more feature snippet availability to international Google domains, then we will be prepared because we have these learnings. We have some nice brand awareness where it really matters, and we're getting the Google Voice search response. And yeah, we got a pretty sweet formula. Just very quickly, another case study was just taking content and restructuring it. So I took this shitty paragraph and created a bullet point list. And it had already after one day, it was getting us these feature snippets. So it can just be that easy. Also, creating snippet hubs. So here's an FAQ page for payment methods. So it's got plenty of questions on there. It's quite a cool page. And here I'm answering the question, can I rent a car without a credit card? So I took that and I elevated it and made it its own landing page. And now I'm letting Google choose what they want. They can have a list, they can have paragraphs, they can have a table. And this really uplifted our amount of featured snippets. So we're not just getting paragraph snippets, we're also getting tables depending on the keyword. So this one is more for long tail keywords, such as with locations. And now it's one of our highest money-making SEO pages, just because I wanted a feature snippet, so that's really cool. How to track your snippets. Searchmetrics has fancy new stuff. I think it's just 2 weeks old now. So you can now see your feature snippet keywords. So what is your own domain ranking for? Yes. But also what your competitors are generating feature snippets for. So you can go out and steal them. So yeah, it gives you a lot of potential. Key takeaways. So carry out problem and solution research, not just keyword research. You should really work in synergy with your Crow team and your sales team to see what problems are out there that you can provide awesome content for. Provide epic, user-focused content that serves a need. Prove that you are an expert on the topic as a whole. Why should Google put you on that position 0 spot? And always back up your claims with additional related content. And just make sure that it's easily understandable and grabbable. Structure your content in great lists and bite-sized paragraphs, and also integrate some nice schema markup. So optimizing for feature snippets is a necessary on-page SEO strategy, because you're creating awesome user-focused content. So even if you're not winning feature snippets, it's still a nice step in the right direction. So thank you for listening, and I wish you the best of luck with your snippet hunting. Thank you.
That's great. Well done. So I think we've got some decent takeaways there, and I think if at the end of the day you guys don't know how to get a rich snippet or a featured snippet, then we have some serious talking to do.
Yes.
But do we have any questions today for Izzi at the moment? Anyone?
I was just wondering how long it took for some of those snippets to appear.
So the car model ones, because I wasn't trying to steal a featured snippet, I was forcing like rich snippets. It took around 3 months, so a long time. Yeah. But for the question, informational intent keywords, it was sometimes the next day or the next week. So it really can be that quick and easy. It's much harder to trigger a new snippet, so a never seen before snippet, than to steal one. Yeah.
So stealing them is the way to go.
Outside the box as well. Yes.
Cool, brilliant. Well,
Thank you, everyone.
thank you very much.